Hello and welcome to a very spooky episode of the Full Force Freakly, brought to you by GeneralsJoesReborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod, aka FrightFeatures80. For today's terrifying episode, I am joined by the petrified Patrick Mirror Universe Notpicard Stewart. In this Vampiric video series, we round up all the week's nasty news in the world of G.I. Joe. What is it, Pat?
It's the Full Force Freakly. Ooh.
Hey, how you doing, my man? How's it going?
Doing all right. It looks like we showed up the same today, huh?
Yeah, we're rocking the same hats. You gotta love that.
Yeah.
We've got a bit back to the future in today's episode because this is effectively what last year's Freakly was all about.
Was it?
Yeah, 1027 and MCM London. Everything that we're talking about today is going to be basically what we talked about last year. Amazing stuff. I hope everyone's having a happy Halloween on the 27th of October. Bit early. How are you doing, buddy? How's things?
Doing okay. You know, I have to admit to everybody that as soon as I saw Chris wearing his Back to the Future hat, I had to put my own on.
Yeah, it's a copy me. He's always copying
I just thought
me.
it'd be fun for both of us to show up to the party wearing the same thing.
It does feel like we're at a Halloween party right now. I'm even got my Snake Eyes costume on as well.
Oh no, you can't really tell right now, but it's Dr. Pepper, but Dr. Pepper with Dracula.
Ooh, that's pretty cool. I'm just gonna zip up I can't zip it up because I've got my headphones on, but effectively I've got Snake Eyes' face as well on my hoodie.
Nice.
Anyway, it's excessive, isn't it? Really excessive. Anyway, we've got lots to talk about, Leon Jarmo. I'm not talking about that now. We're going to leave that for a few minutes. We've got lots to discuss, Pat, and it's all happened like the last couple of minutes, basically.
Right. Yeah, I think that we started like 1 minute or 2 minutes later than usual, just because you were still busy making last minute adjustments, but they're worthwhile adjustments.
Exactly. Right then. Well, one thing I will say before we get stuck into this, yes, I will be going live later following 1027, which kicks off at 3 p.m. EST. We're at 1 p.m. EST right now, so it's a couple of hours away, but I will be going live to react to that. Pat's got to go to work, unfortunately, so he can't help me. But anyway, I'll be there. You know, I never leave you. Pat leaves us all the time, but I'll never leave you. I'm just kidding. Right then, lots and lots of stuff to get stuck into, Pat. Let's start, though, with the thing that everyone's talking about. Page punchers. Earlier in the week, an image emerged online courtesy of Aussie92YoJo on Instagram of two mocked-up McFarlane G.I. Joe page punchers set straight out of NYCC. The image shows two possible sets of two 3-inch figures with a comic each. The mock-up includes two old IDW issues with the Crimson Guard and Cobra Commander as one possible set, and Snake Eyes and Duke as the other. It's very likely that these will change to some extent when officially revealed, but for now, we have a few talking points to work with. Just a few. Right, Pat, let's start off now with, like, we've kind of discussed page punchers, I think last week, because that information was kind of out there. But now we've kind of seen effectively or roughly what the mock-ups of these are going to be. What are your thoughts?
Well, two things. One, I'm really surprised to not see issue number 301, and I wonder if it's just not there yet.
Yeah.
Or if maybe one of these is a placeholder, but I kind of doubt that. And two, it kind of tells me how much I'm really out of touch with a large chunk of the G.I. Joe comics that I didn't read. Because I'm looking at that Crimson Guard, and is that how the Crimson Guard looks inside that issue? Or are they just kind of winging it a little bit? Because I can't really remember a time where a Crimson Guard had long gloves.
I have a funny feeling it's just they're just very basic mock-ups, and they might even be utilizing the same arms as Cobra Commander, in which case they've just kind of painted it the same, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think there's an element here of a bit of kit bashing going on just to create something that I've got a funny feeling they won't look necessarily like that. They might do. I can't tell off the top of my head if Crimson Guards look any different honestly, in the newer comics. I don't think I think they pretty much stay fairly true to the original vintage design.
I would assume so. And I've often felt kind of bad for the person who has to sculpt the next Crimson Guard going after the Classified series sculpt.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
It's like going on stage after Seinfeld, and here's what we have.
I wonder if they're going to do one of those things where they just get given the classified materials to use as sculpts for, like other licenses have basically been able to utilize.
Yeah, I don't know. It sure doesn't seem like it. And that Duke really kind of reminds me of the Toys R Us one, doesn't it? A little bit.
Yeah. I should have done this close-up first when we were talking about the Crimson Guard, but there is a nice close-up of it. And I just have a feeling it's probably utilizing the same arms as Cobra Commander.
Probably, but it does look like the braid on his right shoulder is there.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, but that's probably on the actual torso, isn't it, as opposed to the arm?
Yeah, probably. But that's what I'm saying, is it looks like there's at least a level of new sculpting in there. And yeah, I don't disagree. It looks like he has a fist that has the same fists.
Yeah.
So if they both are clenched fists, then yeah, it makes sense they're probably the same.
Someone's asked about articulation, and I've got it's probably just going to be 5 points, I imagine: neck, shoulders, and kind of legs, top of the legs, thighs, whatever you call them, grundle, either side of the grundle.
Yeah, I mean, page punchers are already out there. You could go look at them in the store if you're curious what these are going to be like. They're just not G.I. Joe ones yet. So
yeah,
I really don't know, because I haven't paid that close of attention to them.
And you were talking about Duke as well here. Yeah, he's definitely got that kind of like almost like Resolute style going on, hasn't he?
Yeah, a little bit. And I wonder, because you can kind of see an opening in the hands. Well, I wonder if these are the same arms on Duke and Snake Eyes as well.
Yeah, because they've got like little C grips almost, haven't they? Or just little like they're touching, the thumb and the fingers are touching maybe to create that little hole. But yeah, they've got to hold. They've got to hold stuff, so it makes sense.
Are they?
I don't know. I'd expect them to. I mean, he's got a sword on his back. I wonder if that comes out.
Yeah, it could be permanent. I really don't know. I mean, there's a lot of DC figures out already. I don't know if there's a Deathstroke or somebody that we could look at that would be likely to have some accessories that may or may not.
Yeah, I've got to admit though, as far as interest goes, they haven't. It's not really piquing my interest. I like small collectible stuff, like especially like G.I. Joe stuff. I love the little like the little foam backpack chibi little characters. I thought they were really cute. The little clips, the bag clips. I really liked obviously Jada's stuff. I like small collectible things. Don't get me wrong, but there's something about this that I don't know. It could be better, is what I'm getting at. I think. I feel like, I know these are mock-ups, but in terms of the page punches in general, I haven't really been impressed. So I kind of feel like I'm probably not going to be getting into these. It depends on a lot of factors. I mean, if the comics and the new comics, I think I might be more inclined to try and check them out, because it'd be nice to have something to go with, a new comic that you buy. Be kind of fun. But if it's just going to be old IDW issues, I don't really, and I'm sure they're probably placeholders, but it just doesn't, it's not really grabbing me at the moment. I'll have to see when the official stuff kind of gets revealed and posted, then I'll probably make a better decision on it. But at the moment, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm the audience here. Well, certainly not the target audience.
I could see myself buying one of them just to kind of give them a try and have a little bit more of a tactile experience to see if there's what my real opinion is of them. I mean, the DC ones even had me curious, but I haven't, I just haven't opened any. And I could definitely see myself buying these on inevitable clearance later.
Oh my goodness, I could see that happening definitely. Yeah, a lot of people saying in the chat that they've got some page punches and from DC and they're not very good. I haven't really given this the much bigger figures. They do like is it 7 inches as well? They do like some 7-inch figures at page puncher size and scale as well. But again, I doubt they're really causing any ripples. They're not really causing ripples in the toy industry. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like if you're not going to do it, if you're just going to throw it out there for the sake of it, I don't know. I don't see the point of that sometimes. And again, like I don't imagine they're that cheap either.
No, I would imagine not. And I kind of wonder how these are going to look next to a mask figure.
Good shout.
And I'm sure that the styling of them is not right at all for that. But it does make me think, is this another test, at least in my mind, of what I would want from a mask toy line?
That'd be fun. That would be really fun. If they were like a good scale for mask toys, it'd be great to have Snake Eyes and Duke in the Thunderhawk, or like, Cobra Commander and Switchblade and stuff like that. That would be kind of fun, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to
be
see.
Styled right though. So
yeah, definitely. Well, that's Page Punchers. We'll talk more about Page Punchers, I'm sure, when the official reveals come out. But that popped up recently, and I believe they're just mock-ups, and they're from either New York Toy Fair or New York Comic Con. I can't remember which one. In actual fact, I don't think it was specified which one that the image came out of, but it's probably actually more than likely going to be Toy Fair, because I believe they had the mock-ups at Toy Fair. People weren't allowed to take pictures. Clearly someone took a picture, and that's what they are. Right then, moving on, Pat, and we've got a bit of a classified roundup to do before we get to the news that everyone wants us to talk about. But let's talk classified bits and bobs. Earlier today, Hasbro Pulse posted a HasLab Hiss Tank unboxing with Emily and Lenny from the G.I. Joe brand team, and we got a really good look at what we can expect to see when they arrive very soon in, or more likely around, our mailboxes. The video showcased all the awesome features that the Hiss Tank boasts, as well as all of the boxed and carded figures in their entirety. Images have also started creeping out from MCM London as the Hiss Tank and Dragonfly take centre stage prior to the big panel tomorrow morning, around 6:30am EST, 11:30am UK. Get ready for a busy weekend. In addition to that, Helix has started to show up in stock at BBTS and other places, so expect the rest of that wave to follow suit. Phew, it is hard keeping up with all of this. Really is hard keeping up. Just today was hard. And considering the whole week we've been kind of chill. Like, there haven't been a lot of like crazy things happening, loads of news, etc., etc. And then today it's just been like, hell, Chris, do another video last minute that you have to squeeze in, somehow record on the fly and get up in time for the weekly. Yeah, sure. Thanks, news. Right, so here we are, classified roundup, Pat. Images coming out of MCM, day one. And yes, guys, I know you're going crazy in the chat about talking about certain things that have been revealed today. I know. We'll get there. We just have to get through this first. So MCM, day one, Hasbro booth, they've got the Hiss Tank up, and at the same time, almost simultaneously, we get the unboxing from Emily and Lenny. Have you seen the video yet, Pat?
I did. I actually just finished it right before you sent me the invite for the the live stream.
How bloody gorgeous is that Hiss Tank?
It looks really nice, and there's one thing that may seem like a downside to everyone, but really did feel like a plus to me.
Right.
The fact that Emily said that there aren't any batteries in there.
Right.
Because I have opened old toys and just had them be obliterated by the batteries that were the Try Me batteries.
Right.
That were, came pre-packed in it. And so it actually is nice to know that you can buy the Hiss Tank and the electronics aren't going to destroy it if you're somebody that's trying to keep it nice and packaged for years.
Leon Jamo just wrote, I'm going to watch this in reverse so the vamp is discussed first. We'll get there, Leon. Calm down. We'll get there. Yes. I know I'm the same with you on that one. When she mentioned the thing about the batteries, I was like, that kind of makes a lot of sense, because I know a lot of people that haven't opened like their Unicron yet, or they haven't opened their... That's you, isn't it? That's you, isn't it?
That is me.
I know people, and one of them is Pat. But like Unicron, I don't think he doesn't have any batteries on there.
He has it. Well, do his eyes light up?
He might do,
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember.
You're motivating me to get that thing open. See, that's the problem with batteries.
Yeah. I definitely think I I definitely think, yeah, it's a good idea not to include them. Because, I mean, like, who as an adult right now doesn't have batteries, like, all over the place? Like, god damn. I've got so many batteries I've got a drawer that's effectively, like, powering the entire the entire block with its just effervescent energy coming off it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's not a big deal for me. Do they say what batteries it takes?
No, I don't think they did, but I do know that the last time we needed button cell batteries, I just went to Dollar Tree. It was at like $1.25 for a 4-pack of button cells. So I'm
It's
really not
cool.
worried.
Yeah, and I do think Lenny did mention what batteries they take way back when we had one of those first kind of like live event kind of discussions and shows and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, beautiful imagery. Are you happy with? I know there are a couple of things about the retro card back you're not a fan of. In actual fact, there's a couple of things I'm not a massive fan of on the retro card back. I'll name one thing I'm not a fan of, and then you name the other thing that I think is your main issue you have with it. Mine is that the logo is a little smaller and doesn't seem to carry the same visual weight that the logo usually does on the card backs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that there's a proportion issue happening here because as much as the size of the figure has been scaled up, the size of the card wasn't scaled up that much.
Right.
So it's hard to fit all those accessories into a spot. Plus, they're displaying every accessory with that back thing in there rather than just having them rattle around up there.
Yeah.
Which is nice, to make sure that everything is included. But it does eat into the space for the logo. I see what you're saying there, for sure. Actually, that's the thing I was going to pick out as my second.
Okay, and your first though.
It's that helmet.
Yeah,
it's that helmet. That art
artwork.
is just like that. Needed to go back to the artist and say that's not really what a Cobra helmet looks like. You have it flaring out like Darth Vader's helmet. That's not what they look like. It doesn't quite come down to that much of a point. I mean, the point I can kind of deal with sometimes, but it's more of a wave than it is a point. I don't know. That just looks entirely wrong to me.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. Like, I don't know why they've gone so extreme with the curvature. I don't understand that because effectively it's not really a fair representation of what the figure looks like either necessarily. And there's always been very kind of hard on. They've always been very hard on doing very specific things that the figure has, like do you remember the articulation issue we had?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's true. We've gone like a completely the opposite direction.
But I will say there are massive positives here. One, reinforced card, so it's much stronger, much thicker. Very happy about that. Two, the white border is back, and it makes so much of a good positive difference. I don't know why, but it just does. And I will say the figure looks phenomenal as well. And obviously the figure, let's face it, the figure's the most important thing here. But as a whole package, and if you're a certain collector, a certain type of collector, yes, there's going to be certain aspects you're not a fan of. But overall, I think the figure looks great. And so I'm kind of happy, honestly, just to be getting the logo as well. Like, it's a nice little homage to throw in there, I think, for his tank itself.
Yeah, I could see myself leaving this one packaged just because of the fact that we'll definitely be getting one that's almost exactly the same. So I could see myself just leaving this packaged, which is why I'm a little more like about that helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Also, the tactician there, just hanging out at the back, scratching himself by the looks of it with one of his weapons. I don't know what that's going on there, but yeah, look, there he is. Then we've got the dragonfly on show as well, which is pretty dope. It's nice to see that again. It's funny. I go through like weeks and weeks, and then they go, "Oh, here's a dragonfly on display," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, we just had a dragonfly HasLab, and it's amazing." So I kind of get that kind of like nice little bump again, that kind of excited bump. So Wild Bill looks dope. Love it. What are you saying, Pat? Go on.
I was just going to say, it is a little weird to be waiting on two HasLabs that I've paid for that are both G.I. Joe.
You're not going to be waiting very long for the Hiss tank, are you?
No, I'm not. But I'm just hoping that there's not much overlap in the future.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's going to be hard, that, isn't it? Especially if hard on. I'm just kidding. It's going to be hard if you. You stop saying hard on. It's got to
Difficult.
be difficult on to do like a situation where the time that it takes to do these things is the time that it takes to do these. Like there's no, like, we're jumping on at a point that usually we wouldn't see in the process. So you'd probably be asking effectively for one every 2 years in order to avoid that overlap, or at least one every 1.5 years, maybe.
Yeah, you could be right. I think that maybe I need to look at the actual time frame. It just feels like it's been a long time waiting, even for the Dragonfly. That seems like the distant past.
Yeah, it's been like 6 weeks. I'm kidding, it hasn't. It's been a lot much longer than that. I'm just excited to get these, man. And this Dragonfly, I love all the details. I love the little panels exposing the weapons sections and stuff like that. Just very nice. Do we have any more? Yes, we've got an extended shot of the beauty in there as well. Yeah, I tell you what, it's not like I'm kind of putting the Dragonfly out of my mind at the moment, because I know that the His Tank's going to be here, and I want to give that some attention. I want to give it like an unboxing bit of attention, and I want to kind of like enjoy it a little bit and display it and like have some figures around it. And I think that is, I'm going to focus my attention on that, because the Dragonfly, we're not going to get to what, next summer?
I would assume that sounds about right. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I'll stop saying yeah now as well.
I kind of was thinking even next fall. Like if things are going back to a yearly something or other, maybe roughly around the same time the Hiss would ship, the Dragonfly the following year.
True. Just under Anderson says summer 24. Thank you, Justin. Okay. I thought it was summer. I think what's next in terms of visuals there, Pat? It's all right. Really? I think we're still in. Yeah, we've got loads to cover still. Some more shots there of the Dragonfly. And now the next news story, part of the classified roundup, is that Helix is like appearing already in stock. So we've had Buzzer recently. Now Helix. Expecting the rest of the wave to kind of follow suit pretty shortly?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we have already seen some strangeness of the waves not all showing up at the exact same time.
Or showing up at Ollie's.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I expect to see them soon. And I'll probably pick her up just as soon as I see her wherever.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Helix, because she's always been one of those, like I remember the Rise of Cobra figure I was really like besotted with, because it was, first of all, I had the game. I really enjoyed the game. That game was fun. I don't care what anyone says. I loved that Rise of Cobra game. I hate the movie, but I loved everything else about it. I loved the toy line. I loved the game.
If only they hadn't made a movie, we would all have nothing but fond memories.
Yeah, why did you bother? It could have just been like one of those things they brought out, and we're like, wait, hang on, is there a movie attached to this or something? What's the Rise of Cobra? Who are all? Is that Channing Tatum's?
Oh, we all would be theorizing what an amazing movie it probably would have been.
Yeah, big time. It got kind of. Imagine if it had got like canned the moment they decided. Was it that one that they were going to do 3D and they caused the delay, or was that the second one? Was that Retaliation?
That was Retaliation.
So what was the delay in play on Rise of Cobra? Because there was a delay initially, wasn't there?
The writer's strike.
Oh, it was the writer's strike, of course. Man, it seems like every Joe movie is just absolutely cursed with something that occurs around that time. So yeah, apart from the 1988 animated movie, what year was it?
87.
We got it in 88. That's what I'm thinking of, because we got it a year later in the UK. Anyway, Long Online says his tank $39.99 at Ross. Lols.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure that will happen. Yeah, so anyway, Helix, back to Helix. Yeah, so I was besotted with this figure because I really loved it when they did characters that weren't necessarily from the movie, because it was always like, I don't know, it was fun stuff like that ridiculous Doc and Billy Spirit and Quick Kick and figures like that. Shipwreck was another one I remember being a Toys R Us exclusive, I want to say. Am I right there, Pat?
Shipwreck, yeah, he was the Arctic one was.
There was a Shipwreck. Yeah, there was like a Shipwreck that was like obviously nowhere near the movie, but was like a Toys R Us kind of exclusive.
Yeah, the what do they call it? Headquarters for Heroes, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. My God, that's a good memory. Yeah, I think you're right. Anyway, yeah, barbecue is a good one, Rob. Yeah, big time. Anyway, Helix, love that figure, and really like the character. I love the comic that came out as well. That kind of one-off they did with her. But then when they did the mini series for special for silent, what's it called? Silent option for IDW. I love that. Bench press is a great one, Rachel. Yes.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a good
that's
shout.
a really good figure.
Really good shout. And also that weird red version of Cobra Commander with the Histrone that kind of came out on the precipice of like the change between Rise of Cobra and Pursuit of Cobra.
That really is a Pursuit of Cobra figure, though, because if you look at the Pursuit of Cobra figures that didn't come out, Pursuit of Cobra is like an imprint of Rise of Cobra.
Yes.
Not actually like replacing the name of the package or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and that was the one that was originally supposed to be purchased by completing a mission in each of the jungle, Arctic, desert, and urban theater.
Yeah. Man, that was a fun little time. I remember that. Yeah. I remember being really fond of that period of time with the toys as well. Like that was a really cool amount of time. But yeah, like anyway, Helix. Love that figure. And I've always liked the 4-inch figure of her. I thought she's always been brilliant. So I'm really excited for this classified one, especially with all these, like, I love the way that she can store that machete on the back of her belt. Obviously, she's got those mantis blades, which are pretty dope. The obviously the reuse of the Storm Shadow movie sword kind of like backpack thing as well. Lots of cool storage for her. Really enjoy, and of course her classic little submachine guns as well. Very awesome. I love that shot where she's holding the swords and the mantis blades are on her arms. That's sick.
Yeah, that looks really good. I wonder if those mantis blades could be reused for like a Valor versus Venom slice.
Ooh, probably. I was going to say Nemesis Enforcer. But it would be better to have something completely new for a figure like that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Something more organic looking.
Orgasmic looking, more like. Anyway, I think that's Helix. There's more Helix images. Look at that. Brilliant figure. Really excited for this one. I think they really did the design justice and did some really cool stuff with it. So, yeah, happy. And they did do those weird, like...
calls out the Band-Aid.
Yes, the friggin' Band-Aid, man. That's so dope. And also the fact that they kind of did away really with those like weird, like almost like hard drives that she had around her belt. Like they've kind of
is that what those were?
I don't know what they were. Just
they might have been. That's a good theory. I don't really know.
They look like hard drives, external ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then obviously the packaging, which should be Shockwave's packaging, but also obviously works for Helix based on her silent option comic issues. But yeah, it just makes so much more sense to put Shockwave there. I still don't know why they did that. Anyway, yeah, look, there's the Band-Aid call out, mate.
Yep.
Lovely stuff.
I thought you'd already gone past it, but yeah, there it is.
There it is. I can't wait for this figure now. I'm really excited for her. Okay, anyway, think that's all for classified roundup. Yeah, it is. I just had to cheat that time. Right, let's get into effectively what has morphed from a kind of preview of what we could see this weekend into breaking bloody news all over the place. Are you ready for this, Pat?
I think I'm ready.
I think everyone else. With 10:27 mere hours away and MCM London tomorrow, let's have one last chat about what we can expect to see over the weekend. Well, we can have a chat about it, but we're going to probably see what we're going to see over the weekend as well in the next few seconds. So yes, I'm also going to check messages because I know what happens usually. I just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. Just doing a bit of multitasking or multitasking as I pronounce it. So 10:27. happens at 3 p.m. EST today. That is in an hour and a half's time, more or less. I'm going to be going live following the G.I. Joe segment. I'm hoping it's first. It looks like it might be first based on the order of operations down the right-hand side of the image. And in the past, G.I. Joe has always gone first at 10:27. So fingers crossed, that's what happens this time as well. Like I said, I'll go live as soon as it finishes, the G.I. Joe segment finishes, and I'll try and get everything together and go live. But we'll be doing that later today. Now, what could we see from 10:27? Just kidding. We'll get there in a sec. Also, Pulse Comic Con MCM London is happening right as we speak. Day one, we've already got the Hasbro booth images we've talked about, but there is a panel. The whole Hasbro Pulse is a big panel. It's going to look at all the different brands, including G.I. Joe's. Going to be G.I. Joe reveals and so on and so forth, and pre-orders, etc., etc. And they've got that kicks off at 11:30 a.m. UK time, which is 6:30 a.m. Eastern. So I'm gonna have to be up early on that one, doing the old, responses and reactions. But we'll be doing that early, hopefully tomorrow morning as well. Next, then, Pat, what are we gonna? Oh, yeah, there's this. Why have I put Raptor and Iron Grenadiers on screen? Well,
you now said their names. I think it was going to be a pictures only reveal. Or perhaps a names only reveal.
Pictures only reveal for the name only reveals. Right. So it looks like 10:27 has kind of been leaked. The video has been leaked, or screenshots of the video have been leaked, which means that someone's probably got the video at hand, and it might even have done some rounds, but I haven't seen it yet. Now, according to Artist Shark, he posted earlier that Raptor and Iron Grenadiers have been confirmed for the Classified series. We can't talk on this, but it's highly likely. That's all I'm going to say. Now, otherwise we wouldn't be putting them on screen and talking about them. I mean, there's only so much I can hide. But yeah, in terms of this, fair enough to assume that this is legitimate because we know it is. So, Raptor, Iron Grenadiers, Pat. First off, what are your thoughts here? Starting with Cobra's finance, I don't know, legal, whatever you want to call it, that also does falconry. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
The two things that I would want the most. Well, one of them I want the most. The other I will have a good chuckle if it's a possibility. The thing I want the most is multiple birds. The original just coming with one bird and being the falconer. Okay, the bird is cool. It is a good accessory, but wouldn't it have been nice to have one with wings in, one with wings out? Yeah. Maybe even just a couple of them. One of them, like if they could have dropped the paint and given me another bird, I would have taken that.
Yeah.
Anything they could have done to have enhanced that a little bit would have been awesome. And I'm sure that would have upped the cost. Maybe they just couldn't have. But the other thing, the detail that's always made me laugh the most on Raptor is the hook with a string on his backpack. Because it just makes me think that he hooks it onto something and then dangles from it and pretends to like flap his wings. I mean, what else could that thing mean? I don't think he's throwing it at anything or it's a grappling hook. I think it implies that he hangs out like he's a bird.
Yeah, that's so weird, isn't it? But yeah, I have to say on this particular figure, I do hope they go in a deluxe direction, and I hope we get like some crazy wings to go with him as well. I'm not sure it's going to be like a soft goods thing. They might do because they've just revealed they're doing soft goods for the 60th anniversary, and that's like the jumping on point for soft goods. So I could see them doing something soft goods, but I'd also love them to do something really wild with the wings. I can imagine like that headdress is going to be freaking amazing, mate. Like, yeah. He's bound to have the like a removable necklace as well. He's bound to have like the kind of, like how you got the claws on the boots on this figure, but then if you look at the kind of modern one, they kind of went with those like almost, they're kind of like crampon shoe type scenarios. I would love to see them do something really cool with that too, with the boots. So yeah, I can see this one being pretty sensational, honestly. In terms of the body, you can get away with it being effectively just the naked torso.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then just build on it from there, which I'm really excited to see what they do with this. Really excited. And I'm with you. I think multiple birds make sense. I think, like, if it is deluxe, then then it would be cool if there was like a stand for the birds and stuff like that. That would be freaking amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that actually brings up a good question, because I'm not real fond. Isn't it Freedom that has the peg in the middle of both feet?
Yeah.
I'm not really fond of that. So I'm hoping that, and I kind of get it, because if you peg him on something, it's easy for him to just kind of tilt back. Hopefully they find some other way of making these land.
Yeah. No, totally. I thought you were saying like using land as a metaphor there, and didn't realize you'd made a pun. But no, you meant as in literally, and that's cool. But yeah, like I'm the same as you. I'm not a fan of the legs in general on Freedom, and I hope they do something about that, maybe ball joints or something, because I think you can get away with ball joint. Like, it's not that finicky to line the feet up in a way that land in the right place. So like, I don't know. I say ball joints is all I'm getting at.
I agree.
Just so they move around a little bit, you know?
Yep. Yeah, because if you could put them on ball joints, you could like swing them back a little bit as you're flying it around. Then their feet aren't always just a post underneath.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a feeling actually with the legs on Freedom that kind of made him a little bit like, it looked a little bit Playmobil. And I think like when you look at Timber, you look at Timber again, you look at Junkyard, you look at maybe some other characters that have got animals coming to, Fiona, you look at those kind of, you know, the level of detail that go into those particular you know, characters. And then you've got like Polly, who is effectively just a little slug on a post, as in like, you know, just one piece, no articulation. And then you've got Freedom, whose legs could do with some work. I think they could raise the bar a little bit on the smaller animals, basically. But anyway, yes, very excited for Raptor. Iron Grenadiers, mate.
Yeah. I hope that this one is good. And if I don't know, I'm really hoping that the helmet mask combination is as good as, well, it's a high bar. Crimson Guard is a high bar. But I could just really see this being a home run. I really could. Yeah.
Sword as well. That's going to be fun. And I know we've had swords with troop builders. We've had it with the Crimson Guard. In fact, the Crimson Guard is a very good, like, it's almost like a nice precedent to have when you're going into doing an Iron Grenadier, because one, you know, you've got the quality in sculpt. Two, you know, you're going to get like, you know, decorative swords and all that kind of stuff in a really cool way. I imagine they'll do something along the lines where it pins to his side. Yeah, very excited for this one. And obviously the Iron Grenadiers in general, the door was opened with Metalhead, so we knew they were coming. Let's face it. This is not a surprise, but it's nice to know they're coming soon, I guess.
Yeah, sounds good. As long as this ends up being true, we'll see here in an hour and 15 minutes.
That's very true. Now, it could be that the information was leaked and it wasn't from 1027 as well. Apparently, there was a video that got out there that has been removed since. Haven't seen it at all. I've only seen screenshots of what's going to be shown off. So, which is a shame, really, isn't it? Like, I really don't like it when these leaks kind of happen. It actually, I've heard that it might have started playing early. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Has someone said that in the comments yet? I don't think they have. It sounds like the video was started early, and some people obviously got an opportunity to record it, to take screenshots, etc., and you know, there you have it. The whole video went up on YouTube, says Charlotte. Holy crap.
Wow. No, I was still expecting it at 3 o'clock. I wasn't watching.
9 a.m. Central. I was not paying attention to that. Damn. Anyway, we'll get to see it in an hour or so. I'm not that fussed. But it's one of the things on the Hasbro channel. Unbelievable. So yeah, that's a shame, man. That is a real shame. Anyway, forget that. Let's move on to other things. What could we expect then, Pat? We'll get to the VAMP, guys, don't worry. What can we expect, Pat, in terms of digital renders? I'm using my name-only reveal graphics, of course, because these are name-only characters that we've had, we've had for some time now. Obviously, you can throw Raptor and friggin' Iron Grenadiers in there now, but do you think we'll finally get to see Jinx and Torch first and foremost?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess some people watching already do know. I'm going to say no, because I think somebody would have already posted those images.
That's a good point, actually. Maybe we haven't seen digital renders. Maybe that's a good point. In which case, that gives me another day to get another one out, because even though I've done Jinx, Torch, and Alpine recently, I haven't done Norgahide, Night Creeper, or Cobra Ferret, and I'm worried that we're going to get digital renders before then, basically. Doc's another one. Yeah, that's good shout, Ryan. Doc is another digital render that we could see, because we do have a name only for that. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah,
I genuinely hope we don't see digital renders for Alpine, Norgahide, Night. Well, I want to see. Let's say I want to see digital renders for Doc, Jinx, Torch, and Alpine, because that gives me time then to do videos for those other three, and I'll be happy with that. But by the sounds of things, it sounds like a video went up early by accident, was leaked, and some people have seen it already. So you're right.
Yeah,
I think we would have seen images by now.
Yeah, there's a lot of images already up on his tank, and I don't see any other renders. That's weird.
That's good, because I imagine they're going to do that for the panel at Hasbro MCM London, is what I'm expecting.
Now I'm very much expecting that, yeah. So a lot of this stuff that we're kind of theorizing on probably will come soon anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all of this tank have got literally the whole video screen capped here.
Yep.
It looks like it's just, it's going to be, oh man, I wish didn't have enough time to do this. Obviously, I'll be utilizing these images probably in preparation for the next live stream, because then it looks like I've done the work myself and I've gone up really, really early. I'm giving the game away massively there. But yeah, we're going to look at some of the images ourselves. And in fact, should we just go straight to that, Pat? Because I think people only care about talking about the VAMP anyway. Yes, we've got Big Boa, but I'm thinking maybe we see something along the lines of Big Boa, of Airborne, Quick Kick, Techno Viper, maybe for MCM is what I'm going to say on that one.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that there's a good chance for those, for sure.
Brilliant. And so it looks like the VAMP then. We're talking about the VAMP. Okay, guys. So this was going to be one of those ones where I was going to be like, oh, yeah, I think the VAMP could be coming, knowing fully well that the VAMP was coming for 1027, lols. But here it is, mate. Are you excited? Here's leaked images.
It does look pretty good. I'm really happy with some of the ways that they've enhanced it. And you know what it really made me start thinking about today was the way that Hasbro has looked at the Hiss and the VAMP now and has kind of brought them to a larger, more updated style is kind of what I would hope would happen whenever somebody's making a movie out of G.I. Joe. Rather than completely scrapping a design and going with something new, I like the fact that it's familiar but also feels a little more real world.
Yeah, big time. Are you enjoying the VAMP details?
I am. The lights on top are a little bit odd to me. They seem extra, but you can probably take them off, I'm assuming.
Yeah, you probably just burn them off, mate. Snap them off, no problem. Yeah, I would imagine you'd probably be able to take those off. But I think we'll probably find out when we watch the video later today. It's so funny there that I was just looking through his tank and all of these screenshots. It's phenomenal. This video has already the entire video has been leaked already, which is just hilarious to me. But it looks like, 1027 is effectively going to be 2 name-only reveals of Raptor and Iron Grenadiers, and it's a pre-order for the VAMP, which is pretty cool. So excited to kind of get involved and to see some of these images, plus all the product images that we'll likely see soon as well. I'm very excited for, got to admit. Like the little mirror on there too. That's really cute.
Yeah, and the working winch, like that's pretty impressive.
Definitely. Little engine inside. Lift the engine cover up. That's pretty cool. And oh, there you go, mate. Lights off.
Oh yes, the lights are movable.
There you go. Sorted. How much is the Vamp against his RKW? No price given just yet. So I'm not going to say a damn thing until it comes up. But yeah, it's I think it's reasonable. Anyway, steel core helmet as well. I like that addition, and I kind of like the fact they put little teeth on it as well. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, those teeth are so synonymous with Tiger Force to me, but they're really not in the real world. They're on other things.
Yeah, and again, like cool little loadout of stuff that it comes with. The little tools, the shovel, the pick, the cans and everything. Just really, really cool. Is that a in case of emergency break glass thing? That little red thing?
It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Like a thing to
is?
rip their seat belts off if they are in an accident. Yeah.
Like it's got the little blade on one side and the little kind of glass breaker.
No, you know what? That's a crescent wrench that fits in.
It is, yeah. It's just the angle that it's at. Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. It's the wrench, isn't it? Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for letting us know. And Leon. It is a wrench. Sorry, just from the angle, it looked just like one of those in case of emergency break glass hammer things. Hilarious.
You know, I still don't have a grunt because, you know, go figure, somebody would have bought every single one at every Target near here.
Well, yeah.
So I still don't have one of those. Is that helmet the exact same helmet as that? Because
no.
There's
a little difference on the side that I can see straight away. It's not symmetrical, but I will say
it looks like there's an antenna on the side.
Yeah, there's extra, and it's almost like the driving helmet for a steel core kind of.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. The fact that it's not just exactly the same.
I think you'll love Grunt. I am genuinely in love with that figure, and he's up there with Tripwire for my favorite figure in Classified so far. It's weird. I didn't expect to love Grunt as much as I did, or I didn't even really expect to be I didn't expect to care for the figure before we knew what he looked like. I was kind of thinking it'll just be Grunt when it, like, basically. But then when the figure came out, I was like, oh no, that's pretty cool. And since having it in hand, he's just so versatile. Like, there's so many kind of, like, I have him with a Skyhawk at the moment, and he looks like correct with it. So, full disclosure, Ryan Meltzer, thank you, Ryan, 3D printed a friggin' Skyhawk for me. I haven't put it in the shout out, so I feel really bad now. But it's beautiful. And Grunt looks like the pilot for it. It's insane.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like the inclusion of those. I always liked the Anti-Venom Task Force. So I kind of like that they seem to be tying the original team together with those helmets now.
Oh, hello, Darren. He's just mentioned here, Army Chopper Gunners have custom painted faceplates on their HGU 56P helmets. Darren, if you could be a little bit more specific with the technical terms, please, that would be great. Brilliant. No, thank you, Darren. That's awesome. But yes, there you go, Pat. That's told you. I'm just kidding. No,
I'm just saying I associate it with Tiger Force. I said that I'm aware that that's not what it's specific to. I mean, it is a real world design. You see it on a lot of things.
And Darren says he's going to send a pic shortly. Thank you, Darren. That saves me doing any work. Yeah, this clutch looks phenomenal. I really like it. And again, it's one of those things where it could just be, it's just a figure that comes with the vehicle. But no, they've kind of gone a little bit extra and made him really cool. So I like that very much. Now, Pat, zooming in on the artwork, or the box render artwork, we can see what is clearly a kind of like what they call Easter egg for the upcoming Cobra Ferret. So effectively that's been revealed at 10:27, which is nice. But also a cheeky little character in the background.
Yeah, and as soon as I saw this, I recognized it from the art of Wayne Luther for the presentation of the Cobra, well, what became the Cobra Ferret, but at that point was the Cobra Python ATV.
Very interesting here.
It just seems like that helmet specifically associated with this vehicle, that's too much of a coincidence. And I kind of think it's awesome because, you know, it brings that not character into the world of G.I. Joe by having it at retail.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like it.
Thank you, Darren, for sending me an image. Oh, I like that one. That's really cool. Check that out, Pat.
Oh, yeah, that is neat.
I'm just going to do this from the rest of the episode because that does look like FrightFeatures80 now, doesn't it? It looks like it's working with the Halloween angle. Yeah, very cool, man. Very cool indeed. Oh, he's sending me more images now. Oh, this is even cooler one. Look at that.
Oh, neat.
Anyway, thank you, Darren. Much appreciated. Yeah, I've got to say, Pat, on this one, I wonder if it's more so just the helmet that's given the vibes. But I would be really, really excited if they've kind of gone a little bit further and created a character out of this particular sort of presentation art, and then, like, you know, classified it up a little bit. But like, effectively, it'd be nice if they'd done something like this.
Yeah, it almost looks to me like whenever he made this art, he was going off of a specific picture, and that he wanted it, you know, he wanted to show off the excitement of the bike, but didn't necessarily pick a, you know, he knew that this wasn't going to retail, or that the kids shouldn't be looking at this back in the early 80s. So I think that he just kind of put a character on there that would demonstrate the cool factor for presenting this vehicle. So I think it's cool, though, because there are a lot of pieces of presentation art that they did that on, where there's like a Cobra vehicle, and maybe it's one like the Cobra Piranha is the one that sticks out in my head. That one didn't come with a figure, but the presentation art has a unique looking Cobra character sitting in the seat. So it would be kind of neat to go back and if they're worthwhile, pull some of those ideas out and make them into characters.
Yes. And also add that I've got a feeling that we might be looking at some sort of, you know, again, like just kind of bringing it back to what I think they're probably going to do more than likely is maybe like a Cobra Trooper body with a kind of bike helmet sort of scenario.
Yeah, I think you could be right. It could be that this is actually representative of something and I'm reading too much into it, or that it's just an existing figure with a different helmet, kind of like Baroness was with the coils. You know, she had that motorcycle helmet, and that could be all that this is.
That said, it's a great spot and something that is like a nice. You're right. There's a real heavy kind of feeling of coincidence here, but you know, it could just be as simple as the fact that when you're on an ATV, you wear a certain type of helmet. It could be that simple, and then like the reference for doing like, well, you know, what would an ATV driver utilize in, you know, if they want to wear it would be a motorcycle helmet. So like, or like one of those it's kind of more of like a motocross helmet, isn't it, basically, with a little lip on it and the separate goggles. Yeah, so I think, I don't know, it'd be really fun if they had the helmet and separate goggles too. That would be kind of freaking amazing.
Yeah, in 6-inch scale, it gives you a little more space for wall thickness, and they could get away with doing some of those things.
Yeah. Anyway, brilliant chat. Good spot on that one, Pat. Genuinely. Yeah. So effectively, 1027 has sort of happened for a lot of people already, and we'll be going live when it actually happens later, to kind of like go over all of the stuff that came out of the video. Even though I think a lot of people already know exactly what's happened, it might be a short episode, is what I'm getting at. And I might be able to get it prepared before the actual show starts, which is even more hilarious. But I do want to watch it anyway in live time, and I do want to get as much info out of it as possible, in order to kind of like, you know, have discussion points and so on and so forth. But that, yeah, and if there are no render reveals today, which is brilliant. Hopefully I can squeeze another video out before tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Can I do it? Is that too much? Is that might be beyond my capabilities? But anyway, do we need to even talk about the rest of it, Pat? We've got the tech. We obviously we're not seeing this at 1027, but could we see it for MCM London?
Yeah, I kind of think that all the things you put in here for potential for 1027 are just really becoming potential for London. Yeah, there's a good chance. I think Lenny even re-mentioned this thing whenever he was showing off the his tank, whenever they did their unboxing. So this has to be soon, because people are already getting the other ones in hand, aren't they? Yeah, they are. The 3-pack. The 3-pack's already in hand.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought that they would time things so that maybe you would have the supplemental items hitting right near the shipping of the his tank. So I would expect this one to not take too long.
You're right. It's got to be sooner rather than later, definitely. Yeah. Obviously, Metalhead is another big shout. I assume we'll see him either revealed or something at MCM for the panel. I feel like he's a big shout. I also feel like Mutton Junkyard as well. I believe those two, for me, they're my top picks, is what I say. If we were doing this in the sports vernacular, those are my top picks for the weekend.
Okay.
What are yours?
I don't really pick top. I'm not really thinking of things in those terms. I will get these things whenever they find the time to send them to retail. That's whenever I will get them. I'm not going to freak out about pre-orders still. I'm just not.
Oh God, no. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a freeing, definitely, and a freeing feeling to not gone the pre-order anxiety route,
Yeah.
And even now, where we're buying a house and our priorities have switched dramatically, not really just dropping it completely and just reporting on it is even more freeing, oddly enough. There is an element of FOMO, don't get me wrong, but when you've got what do you call it, the his tank and the Dragonfly on its way, like that, I'm cool. I'll be fine, and I'll get back on the horse when they do a horse, because they'll have to do a horse animal companion at some point.
Oh, they need to do a horse, yeah, for sure. That'd be a great one for Wild Bill. Do a packed Wild Bill. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough because I do withhold at least a little bit of my opinion until I have something in hand. And I can tell you for certain it's going to be a long time before I have this Metalhead in hand.
Yeah.
Because from the looks of it, whenever I find it, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
This one's not one of my favorites. Mutt, on the other hand, I will pick up as soon as I see him.
Yeah. Sorry, just to confirm for people that might be a bit confused, 1027 hasn't officially happened. They just leaked they accidentally played the video this morning, and a few people managed to watch it, and some people recorded it, I believe, and some people took screenshots. But effectively, it's one of those things where it's kind of the information's out there already. So what we can ascertain so far is that there are name-only reveals for Raptor and the Iron Grenadiers. The VAMP was revealed as will be revealed later as a pre-order, and was also shown off the physical, and unboxed and everything on the event as well. So that's all we can really say on that one. And like I said, we'll be going live when the official thing happens at 3 as well. I'll be going live when that happens at 3. So it hasn't technically happened, but it has, and all the information's pretty much out there as well, which is hilarious. Anyway, there's a few other kind of bits and bobs to really maybe gloss over, because I don't necessarily think we'll see anything. We might do, but I don't think we will. Obviously, we've got Retro Scarlet, we've got Retro Recondo, we've got Retro Duke, and then we've got the 60th anniversary figures as well. We're probably getting ahead of ourselves here, but I imagine these are probably going to be pushed a little bit closer to 2024, if not into 2024.
Do you mean the pre-orders for them going
reveals
up?
And so on? Reveals, the physical reveals and pre-orders, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting into the holiday season. Things are going to be getting a little bit busy. I don't know that we won't get anything for 2 solid months. But Emily did say in I watched your interview. It was very good.
Thanks.
She did say that they had packed a lot. What was it, like a whole year into 6 months?
1 year into 6 months, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that we should kind of expect to have a little more breathing room from here on out as far as reveals and pre-orders go. So maybe that's part of the reason why we didn't see too much at 10/27, other than I mean, it was a good idea to pull out the VAMP because there's a lot to just look through that.
Yeah.
But if there aren't a bunch of figure renders or too much to look at, that's fine. It just means that maybe we'll be able to get into the brand and actually buy it at a better pace across the next year.
One thing I'll also mention is that on one of the screenshots, it says the pre-orders at 5 p.m. Eastern, Hasbro Pulse Premium members, and then everyone else at 6 p.m. Eastern. So it's, well after the show, is done. And I'm imagining from that as well, it looks like Hasbro Pulse, it looks like a Pulse exclusive, basically. So
it is a Pulse exclusive?
Looks like it.
Wow. Okay.
So there you go. I believe so, because it just says Hasbro Pulse Premium members and all fans. There's no other, usually when it's plus it's a Pulse Premium event as well. So it makes sense for it to be a Pulse exclusive.
I was going to say the Trouble Bubble was a little confusing with that. Like, their video talked about it being an exclusive, but then if you went to the website, I don't think on Hasbro Pulse it actually, like, it was an exclusive, but I don't think that it was listed that way.
Okay. That is quite weird and interesting as well. But yeah, effectively, isn't that one of those situations where it's a Target exclusive, but they have, they have it on the Pulse as well because it's, the small amounts and so on and so forth.
The Flight Pod?
Oh, you mean when you said exclusive, I thought you meant the Target exclusive Python Flight Pod.
No, I'm talking about the first Trouble Bubble with the standard Televiper.
Yeah, I believe that was Pulse exclusive, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think it says that on the website.
It doesn't say it on here either, though. It doesn't say it on the pre-order thing for the VAMP. It's only talking about Hasbro Pulse,
right?
Like premium members.
That's kind of why I'm saying I believe that you're right.
Yeah. Oh, right. I see.
They're not plastering exclusive everywhere, but in the past they didn't, and it still was.
Yeah, I thought we were having an argument, but we were basically just yelling at each other for on the same page. No. That's hilarious.
I'm trying to bring you Pat, up to speed on my support of you. Please let me agree with you, Chris.
Amazing. Right then, I think that's pretty much it. Because I've got to get ready for this next thing now, and I've already got like a blooming headache. Anyway. Yeah, I think that's everything. Is there?
That is everything. Yep, that's actually
just checking.
I could have told you.
I know, but now I've got to the point where I think it's funnier that I like spoil it for everyone. Plus, this is the Halloween special, and also it's in the theme of spoiling things because we've just been ruined for 10/27, basically, haven't we?
We could have started with the shout outs and gone backwards, and that's kind of how everybody wanted it.
That would have been genius, wouldn't it? Absolute genius. But finishing on the page punches, people probably would have just burnt the house down, wouldn't they? Like, seriously.
That's true.
How do we talk about the page punches so much? Anyway, that is it then, guys, for the news. Pat and I are going to do some other stuff now in the shout outs. I have lost my mind. Let's do it. Have you tried Hoarder yet? No? Well, you need to. If you have a collection of things and want to create a fun and easy way of organising it and of course showing it off, then get involved. You can post items and build collections, and you can drop a status like getting a fun delivery or seeing some awesome related stuff on your travels. Build your collections with Hoarder. The app is free to download on Google Play and the App Store, so what are you waiting for? Get to hoarding. Yo, right then. Share tats, as they say in London. Now, one thing I just want to say before we move into yours, Pat. You've put your hat back on, brilliant. One thing I want to get into before we get into your shout outs. just a quick one for Mark Seddon, who emailed me this morning with a bunch of links that I was going to do shout outs for. Completely left my mind all day with all the stuff I was doing. I didn't get to add it to this. So what I'll do is I'll post links to the videos Mark's talking about, all about the comics news and everything very recently, and lots of cool stuff to check out from Talking Joe Comics. So I'll be posting those up on the socials later. Yeah, sorry about that, Mark. I saw it this morning and then was going to do it, had every intention of doing it and completely forgot. So I will do that later. Pat, to you, my friend.
Oh, to me. Off to me. I thought you meant to me and you had more to say.
Right, Pat, to you. Philip. Shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out to Philip, who looks like he's in the chat this week.
He is. He was. I don't know if he's back in there. He was talking about A10s earlier when we were talking about the old teeth like paint on vehicles and stuff like that. He's on FB, is he? There he is. Oh, yeah. Hey, he's on YouTube as well. Look. There's Phil. Hi, Phil. Shout out. Let's wave at him. Yeah, and of course, articulated points, mate. Any of them on the horizon?
I surely hope we get one in here before the end of the month, but we will see. I've had a rough month. I had just this week, a couple of 12-hour shifts, driving all over the place. It's been hard.
Ouch, man. That is kind of hardcore. I'm not trying to one-up you or anything, but I did travel to Ohio on the weekend.
Oh, and, yeah, you did.
That was fun. That was a 12.5-hour first journey, probably a little bit longer with stoppages, and then it was about 25.5 hours there and back. And I did it Saturday. I left Saturday at 3:30, I want to say, in the morning. And I got there around about 4-ish. So I didn't do too bad. And then on the way home, I left a little bit later. I left about 5, got home about 6:30.
Did you stay overnight or did you just turn around and come back?
I got out the car, hung out for 10 seconds at the toy department, got in the car, drove another hour to see Aaron, to Roma Collectibles crew, Aaron and Sarah.
Okay.
And then stayed round theirs the night and then literally got up in the morning and left.
At least you slept.
I did, yeah, I did for 5 hours. It was all right. It wasn't too bad. Honestly, the journey wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be terrible, and it was actually not too bad at all. So yeah, massive shout out to the toy department, Kenny, Aaron, everyone that I hung out with, and yeah, everyone. Love you guys, and can't wait to see you all again. And to Ryan and Molly as well, and Sarah, to everyone that I hung out with. It was brilliant. So yes, yeah, that was that. And that's where I got that amazing gift from Ryan, which I haven't put in the show notes, which I feel terrible about. So thank you, Ryan, for the amazing 3D printed classified scale Skyhawk. You absolute mad genius. It's got the engines turn on the back, missiles come off, the thing opens up at the top so you can put the figure. It's so good, Pat. Have you seen it?
You did show me some pictures. Yeah, it looks really good.
Oh man! So thank you, Ryan. It's really appreciated, mate. And it was the toy department store is quite next level, is it not?
It's huge. It's a nice store. Yeah, if you're ever anywhere near it, it's worth going a few hours out of your way to make sure that you get to see it.
Absolutely. Anyway, shout out to the fam, UK, US based, and of course to Kate and Phoebes. We are ramping up to get to, finally own our house, which is crazy. Fingers crossed that all goes to plan. Yeah, so that's really close now. And then you'll start seeing probably different backgrounds. Where's Chris today? Oh, he's in a different place. Anyway, hopefully that will happen sooner rather than later. And also shout out to Brian Sauer, who does our phenomenal graphics. Thanks for the last year's Halloween graphics, mate. But still, thank you, because they're brilliant. I really do love these graphics. I love the kind of dirty orange vibe and all the slime dripping around. What is it called?
Ectoplasm.
No.
Plasmatox.
Plasmatox. Always forget that name. Always. Fake fan. Anyway, related to Brian, of course, is assembly required. Are you excited for this, Pat? Are you going?
Yes, and that is also part of the reason why I have been so crazy busy, is getting things done in time.
Yeah, because Chris Murray never helps you.
No, I'm leaning on Chris Murray this year.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I'm only joking. Love you, Chris. And also, yeah, really excited for the event, even though we can't go, which sucks. But excited to see all of the fun that you guys are going to have, and we're going to be very jealous of all of you having a great time. So that sucks. But also, we have another FBI all points bulletin. The Dreadnoks, now rolling 12 deep after their inexplicably successful prison break, appear to be meandering through southern Iowa and causing surprisingly little mayhem. Local authorities in Lamoni, Beaconsfield, Creston, Greenfield, and Winterset have all reported encounters with the colourful cadre of criminals. Unfortunately, officers of the law didn't bother to detain these wanted menaces because the very, very, very well-known fugitives were apparently behaving like polite young men and obeying posted speed limits of 15 miles per hour. Some citizens even came out to watch the pack of reprobates ride through town, thinking it was a spontaneous parade. Our profilers pegged the proximity of assembly required in 1 week on November the 3rd and 4th as the cause of the gang's uncharacteristically pleasant mood. I wonder if I saw them when they were there. Well, yeah, although Iowa, they were miles away from where I was. Where did I travel? I went, okay, so these are the states I went in, Pat. Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, West Virginia, Pennsylvania,
well, not in that order.
Ohio.
If you went in that order, you went the wrong way.
Where else did I go? I think that was it. I think it was 7 states.
Yeah, that'd be it. To get into Ohio. Yeah, but you were almost all the way to Indiana and Kentucky.
Nearly.
Yeah, you're very close to them.
Pennsylvania is always one of those states that I start in. I'm like, okay, we're in Pennsylvania, and then like 3 months later, we're still in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's not Texas, but it's pretty wide.
It's a big old Hossin state, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So there's an all points bulletin relating to it's getting pretty clear. I think it's going to be Dreadnoks related. What do you think, Pat?
I think so. Yeah, maybe.
Probably going to be Dreadnoks related. Also, they've been posting some pretty cool T-shirts for pre-order. Love that Cold Slither one.
Already pre-ordered it.
Have you already got them?
Yeah.
And I love that Chameleon Swamp Tours one. That's phenomenal, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Love them. The graphic design for Assembly Required is some of the greatest graphic design I've ever witnessed in the universe. It's great. Just going to the event and looking at all of the cool stuff that Brian produces, like artwork wise, is enough, honestly, in some cases. But anyway, that's Assembly Required. What else was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, I might have something special cooking up with somebody else that should be appearing at Assembly Required. Very excited to reveal what that will be, but we won't do or say anything, obviously, until the event, and then we'll share the hell out of it. But anyway, excited to see that, and excited to tell you guys what is going to be. There's a slight hint on the screen currently as to what that could be, but and you might be able to work it out based on my background, but we'll go on from there. And then also, not related in any way, shape, or form, shout out to the Word Burglar. I'm the worst at keeping any kind of secret, aren't I? Shout out to the Word Burglar for the Spinnerack EP again. I did produce a track on this album, and it's awesome. It's a great EP. Go check it out. It's streaming now on all streaming platforms, so you can add it to Spotify or iTunes or whatever the hell whatever you listen to. I don't know, Amazon, whatever it is, you can check it out. Anyway, that's it for the Full Force Freakly. Have you had a scary, spooky time, Pat?
I was frightened the entire time during this entire episode.
I actually pooed myself.
What?
So I've been sitting in it this entire time, all the way through, just to be on theme.
Oh, okay. I'm not real quick today. I'm so tired.
It's all right, dude. I should never have pooed myself in the first place. Anyway, hope no one else pooed themselves in the chat. Thanks very much, guys, for all of your Brilliant comments and everything. Appreciate it. And also for all the support. I'll be back in an hour. Yeah, just under an hour. Well, no, a little bit longer than an hour. Probably just over an hour. Yeah, excited to talk about something we've already talked about, I guess. But, you know, these things happen. These leaks happen. And I'm excited to actually see the video that other people have already seen. But we'll get there. Buddy, thanks very much for joining me once more for the Freakly. I hope you've had a good time.
Oh, yeah, this is a fun one. I didn't think that there would be any news or anything to talk about. And then this morning, you know, it was more than page punchers. So
I know. I was thinking, how are we going to get an hour out of page punches? Like, how is it going to, it's not going to happen. And then bang, bang, bang. Yeah, loads. So brilliant. Anyway, pre-order's not till later, guys. For those that are worried about it, the pre-order for the VAMP goes up at 5 p.m. Eastern for Premium Pulse members and 6 p.m. for everyone else. There you go. Okay, see you in an hour or so. See you later, Pat. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, after 3, you should know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force. Ooh. Ooh. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.